Good midnight, everyone. Welcome to this lesson in which I'm gonna try to share a framework that I developed for building ads that consolidates all the complexity of different cognitive strategies and biases, like whatever scarcity, social proof, blah, 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 all of that stuff, into a simplified version and gives you a template that you could use, and that should also make life easier for you. And this was fun. Like, marketing is something that I spent the last 2 years in and conducted a bunch of workshops, a lot of them, worked with a lot of business owners, told them what to do, spent a lot on ads, mainly specializing in meta ads. And this framework is mainly targeted for paid ads that are interruption based. So like that's just a fancy term of saying that like intent-based ads are, for example, on Google, somebody's going there to search your name. So they're already there looking for a service, right? On Meta, on TikTok, on YouTube, on platforms like these, Instagram, they're scrolling their friends' feed and stuff and they see your ad pop up. And that ad needs to grab attention to be able to get them to see the value in your product. Obviously, we can do targeting and everything else we just covered in a different video. But this one covers the frameworks of the ads we can run because one of the most fundamental principles is that different people have different personality types, right? Different marketing approaches work better on different people. There are lots of persuasion tactics, there are lots of frameworks, but there's no one size fits all. And I've tried to simplify it here, um, and make it extremely valuable. But that's like the whole place. So I'll quickly go over it. So obviously, PACE was a concept that Ty Lopez came up with. I heard from him 7 years ago, and it stood for practical action, social, emotional. He made this as a persuasion tool for sales or whatever to be able to communicate and get people to do what you want. I later, because it was one of the first fundamental persuasion concepts I learned, I later started piecing the ad copies and the ad frameworks and everything back to it and sort of built this around that. So all of the other ad concepts that are pretty good on their own have been consolidated into these four pillars. And we're going to go over those today. And you can just take them as it is. And these are extremely effective, extremely important. Some notes to quickly go through. You need to learn the skill. It doesn't matter if you're hiring agencies or if you're planning on outsourcing this or whatever. You want to be able to know how to run paid ads. The frameworks I'm about to share right now, these are extremely good, battle tested, proficient. Most marketing agencies would won't be advanced enough or won't be um like telling you it the right way, right? So we can look at we can go over those here. These I already covered their interruption-based ads, and we need to grab attention. There are millions of combinations, so don't try to get it perfect. Nobody knows you yet. Okay? So our job with this is to get started, do enough volume, and get attention. And the other thing is, I mentioned this earlier that um, it is a lot, but that's what you need because without the world is more competitive right now. And the thing we are trying to solve here is literally the rainmaking, as Hormozy calls it, or in this case, we're building the lead flow of the business on which depends all the money and everything else you make later on, right? All the sales, everything else. If the lead gen isn't as good enough, it won't work. And this is how we can potentially, this is how we ensure that pretty much. So the other thing is quite often in paid ads, the creative is the hook, not the headline. People focus on headlines saying your headline is the main thing, but it quite often could be the thing you say in the first 5 seconds of the video. It could be the what's text written on the image because when people are scrolling, besides the let's take in meta ads, besides the first headline of the ad copy, which is the text, and then a tiny headline you see at the bottom, the main quite often the central area is given to the creative, and that's quite often where you would more highlight the structure. And this is something I see quite often get neglected, where people say headline or hook is important, but they don't specify where that needs to be built. I believe mostly you need to focus on the creative where the hook lies. Anyways, so different people have different personality types, different marketing approaches work better on different people. Four archetypes, they're practical people. They love data, reasoning, explanations, specificity. They want to know why things are the way they are. These would be like CEOs or executives or high-end business owners. Um, their ways of targeting them. They're emotional people, which are quite opposite and would likely be the main audience that you find. They want that empathy, they want that connection, they are driven by fear, they are driven by emotions, things like that. I can get further deeper into that. Um, they're action-oriented ones. They want benefits. They want quick results. They want the experience. They want things like that. They're social ones. They're social butterflies. They're influenced easily by what others are doing. They want to be part of communities. They want the approval, the validation, right? And every single human has different major personality components that lie into one of these four areas. Somebody might be more practical, like I'm more analytical, if you couldn't tell. Um, some are highly emotional, some are very social. And everyone has these dominant traits, and quite often it's a combination. The mistake people make is they assume the ads that you like or the creatives that you like, which is tailored to your personality type, is what everybody else would like as well, which quite often isn't the case. So in your advertising, people end up missing like 75% of the audience because they're just specializing in the 25% that is tailored to them. And that is quite often a mistake I do see being made. So here are frameworks. You test all of these, you'd be really good. Like if you make an ad with like 20 different ad copies and structures that are trying to cover four or five copies and creatives and styles from every single of these pillars, that gives you enough data, enough feedback to be able to build and scale your campaigns quite easily. And honestly, you don't even need to do it that perfectly. We have ad copy templates next on. You can build selfie style videos. First ads don't need to be perfect because quite often it's the testing phase. Spend less on ads in the first phase. Anyways, so let's get started from the framework. First one is emotional based. Quite often people who are emotional would respond more to emotional triggers. The value doesn't always have to be monetary. It could be emotional as well. Humor is one of them. Memes have outperformed really high quality videos many times in my advertising career. So we did use that funny video, same thing, because it drives engagement. People want to interact with that, right? I'll give you guys an example. I think I used that over here. And these sort of ads did become common. I just took this one out because I found it to be interesting. And we can have a look at this. How's the ad for um so let's play this. My best friend tried to pull him. Tyler, we've been expecting you.
Tyler, we've been expecting you. Welcome to Overtime. This is going to be your one-stop shop at getting optimized. So girls like that, never friend zone you again. Let me give you a quick tour. So we're going to start you here in the exam room where we're going to draw your blood so we can see exactly what.
Yeah, then he goes into the actual delivery, but like the first section was such a fun hook. And then the transition was humorous, even though the video sort of butchered it right now. But like, Tyler, we are expecting you. Was pretty entertaining. Now, coming back to that, so obviously humor, funny videos, things like that, the ads would do really well. They would get a lot of engagement. And if you can tie that back to the offer, that works really well. And this video was a really good example of that. Next one, FOMO, scarcity, urgency. Limited spots left, limited number, or like the offer ends on a certain date. You create that fear of missing out where the prices would increase soon or something like that. And ads like those are extremely effective. People quite often hate that, but you need to add and create stakes within the ad copy so people are motivated to take an action. Otherwise, they won't, right? No more pain. These sort of ads are like, um, do you want to finally stop feeling overweight? Do you want to finally look in the mirror and not feel um, I'm also trying to be careful with the words I use here because if I run these on YouTube and then they think that I'm actually running these ads and the video gets taken down. But so no more feeling stressed about this, no more doing that. And then they get into the copy instead, let's fix things this way. Whatever consequences of inaction, what do you think is going to happen if you keep walking down the path that you've been walking on right now, right? Add copy angles, video angles that showcase that where you've been trying to lose this for a while, but you haven't committed to it fully, and you're seeing the consequences already, and you know they're going to get worse. So what are you waiting for to take action? Empowering, inspirational. Um, Give them hope. Tell them why they can do this. Tell them why you believe in them. Share stories, which is one of the most important ways to get people who are emotional to convey. Do the hook story offer template that Russell Brunson talks about, the epiphany-based ones. Share why your mission is doing what you do and why you relate to their problems and why you build your business so you can stop them or people like you from struggling from the same issues that you used to struggle with. Tell them why or how there were clients working with you who had similar problems, who have overcame that now, right? Break their false beliefs. Do you think you cannot lose? And this connects back to empowering and inspirational one, which is, do you think you won't have the same fitness level or won't go back to your high school uh body? I'm here to tell you that's definitely not true because multiple people have done it, and the reason you haven't been able to do it is because it was not your fault. That's like another angle that can be used here. And that gives people a much easier way out for them to realize how they can walk in. Personal tone, quite often using I, first person based ads. Um, I would give you guys examples later. Relatable ones, obviously, if you're worried about the pretty people, emotional, 100% our reptilian brain, which is why attractive girls in gym ads work so well or attractive guys do. Now, a tip here would be in the audience because the reason some of you don't want to do that is because you're saying, oh, I don't want to, attract the wrong audience. Well, just just set the targeting to the gender of your choice. Turn off the audience of the other gender, right? So, like if you're a girl and you are running ads and you're worried that you don't want to take advantage of that because men would come after you, well, then turn off the ads of men, which is kind of contradictory, up to you. Because if you went the other way around, you would do a lot better as well. But do you want to? Guarantees because they have fear of making the wrong choice, taking away that comfort, relating to that fear, comforting them, right? Here's an example of emotional based ad. Let's forget action. Yeah. If you are someone you love, feel stuck in your body, but know there's more inside of you, this is for you. Let's not sugarcoat it. You've tried diets, you've done all of these things, but you're not progressing. You're just going through the motions. You wake up tired, relatability-based problems. That quiet frustration that's what slowly kills momentum. Most fitness programs focus on service level fixes. They treat you like a number, but what you really need, a system that understands you, challenges you, and actually gets results you can feel. That's what this free live webinar is all about. And here's everything included. This isn't about hacks or hype. This is about helping you take back control of your healthy energy, blah, blah, blah. It's an example of a copy that focuses more on the emotional side. Next one. Again, similar style. How many Mondays have you promised yourself? Would be different. I had dozens, maybe hundreds. This is more personable. Every Monday felt like a fresh start until I finally made one that actually count. I joined a group of people I'd never met before. Blah, blah, blah. I stopped quitting on myself, stopped playing small, and started realizing that this is what I was waiting for. No more next week, no more guilt, no more blah, blah, blah. Example of an emotional ad copy, right? Humor, I already showed you guys in a video, but you get the point. These are the most common audiences. These copies work the most, right? Next one, practical, specific callouts. Specificity works really well for practical people because they want to feel like it is for them in a different way from the emotional ones, like calling all single mothers over 40 in the neighborhood of Albert Park. Do you feel like you're struggling with all of these problems? The reason quite often they experience that is because they think it's because of this or this, but in reality, it's because of completely different reasons. And that's because of the metabolistic changes or whatever. And we are going to show you how, through our program, which has these four levers, is going to fix that for you once and for all. And then you lead to the offer. I just gave that an example, but it's like very specific. They generally want more details. You have to explain the logic, you have to create the gap, why every single inclusion exists, what are its benefits, what problem does it solve. Honestly, problem solution is the most important one. Problem solution style out copies. Are you struggling with this? Here's how we can solve it. That sort of language works really well for practical people. Case studies. Give them an evidence of how this person got this result. This is what they did. If you want similar results, sign up. They can see the process, they can see the procedure, and they can educational tactics awareness. Same thing. Educational videos obviously are one of the best or the strongest art creatives, but also within those, if you can showcase your authority and showcase the proof that you can get the results that you want, and then you give them specific tactics on that, that's what is combined here with the next one, which is awards and accreditations or achievements, honestly. Like we have transformed over 1,200 lives, or we have achieved these really complex, like gotten seven of our clients who were to lose almost 30% of their body weight and go from looking like this to like this. Um, if you've spoken on stage, if you have pictures with celebrities or all of those guys, right? Definitely use those here. If you have whatever awards, whatever achievements, add those here. It builds your authority. Practical people look for authority. Stats, facts. Did you know that 90% of women are unable to lose their weight because of the following reason? This is how we can overcome it. Hook works well. That would work on a practical person. Justify the offer. Why are we offering this amazing thing for free? Because we just move into the new area and we wanted to get clients upfront, which is why this is an offer that is made for us to get the volume that we are after, right? Like that's an example that you could use here. Now, action-based. So action-based people want experiences, they want rewards, they want benefits, they want to go through that sort of system, right? So this one obviously lists the rewards, benefits, and inclusions. Offer stacks work really well here. Normal gyms just give you these two benefits. When you work with us, you get these seven things on top of the ones you're already getting there at like half the price or whatever, right? And when you do this, you'll be able to get the following results and it'll work better, it'll be faster, blah, blah, blah. So let's move started. High energy, more pace. Um, Works well here. Giveaways work well for action-based people because they want rewards. Obviously, so like enter the draw to win all of these things and get a chance to be a part of this or blah blah blah. Experiences, obviously. Challenge is an experience, just so you know. Boot camps are experiences, hell weeks, whatever, even for your existing clients who want to stay longer. This is a very comprehensive framework. Like give them experiences that gets them to want to stay. Speed of results is important. Action-oriented people want results. They want quicker results. So how this system will allow you to like these are the people who sign up for getting abs in 6 weeks. They don't worry about maintaining it. They want the instant result. That's like the action person, right? And many are like that. Many want that instant result. The missing link, curiosity-based ads, where they want to figure out what they can do to get the outcome. Did you know, or do you want to know what's the number one reason why you have been held back on getting the outcome that you were after or whatever? Transformations work well for them. Show them what's possible. They want that future state. Here's how you can go from here to here, right? Educational tutorials obviously work well for them, but they're more practical in nature. Home workouts, or here's how you could do this, or here how you could do that. And they will want to watch the video because they want to learn how you do it at yourself so they can implement it on their own. And you can then tie that back into call to actions into your offer or whatever. Next one, social people, social butterflies, people who are extremely motivated by what others are doing and they look at others for getting justification. Like these are the people who rely on referrals as opposed to public knowledge, right? They would value their friend's opinion more over facts. That's what I mean by social, as well as people who just would go to a place for the community and not for actually losing weight. There are a lot of them. People just want to socialize. Human beings are social creatures, and we are influenced by that. So, testimonials and client stories obviously is a great way of doing it. You show others who are similar to the person themselves. For example, if you're targeting single moms, show a single mother giving a testimonial on why your program changed her life. Even better if she talks about the similar problems and the goals that she had, right? Association bias. You can associate yourself with famous teams, influencers, like in your bio, in your ads. Let's support whatever. If there's like a football season going on, we are running an offer that is special to Broncos or whatever, right? Um, and they like Broncos as well. So they're like, I like this person because he's in my same tribe. Those sort of ads work really well. Taylor Swift packages. Seriously, this is an example. Like, imagine you ran a Taylor Swift themed offer and you would get all the Swifties coming after you. Association bias. Community focus. Show them why the community is supportive, how fun it is. We do all these adventures together. We go on hikes. We have themed events. There are meetups. Everybody's really supportive. You guys get to interact with each other, blah, blah, blah. Show them the community, show them the behind the scenes. Um, have you seen those group sessions? This is the next one where everybody's doing a workout together or they're exercising together, and then after those, you show group testimonials. Group pictures, images, things like that. Definitely add those. They work really well as ads for social people. As well as like just general come with a friend offers or stuff like that, where they can come and make friends or network and angles along those lines. Now, we have already covered action, practical, social, and emotional. Let's look at some examples. So, practical one. Attention, women in Australia is 55 and over looking for real change in 2025. Total body reset program is now open for applications. If you're tired of typical fitness noise and ready for something, this is an example of a practical ad copy repeating that. Um, this is not blah blah blah. This is not what is. We're a boutique fitness studio. Who we are. Again, you establish authority, credibility. Here's everything that is included, and why that's important. You won't fall on track. Our coaches are there to guide you, nutrition guidance, blah blah blah. And also note spaces are limited. We're keeping it small so every woman gets like we're justifying the offer and everything else. So this is an example of a more logical, explanatory, practical ad that would work well on that audience. Copy one. This is another example of practical. Factual based. Did you know that over 80% people start a fitness goal and quit within 3 weeks? Right? We are starting with a hook. We are starting with a fact. That's not an exaggeration. According to multiple studies, lack of support, structure, and clarity are the top reasons people fall off track. But here's the real kicker. Most people already know what to do. They just don't know how to stay consistent. Even worse, 70% of people say they've tried everything from diets to fitness plans and still feel stuck in the same cycle. Let that sink in. Here's the truth nobody tell you. Here's the solution. What you'll walk away with. Here's the offer. Spots are limited. Sign up for the 1 day reset event. An example of a really good fitness practical ad that is specific, gives reasoning explanations, and will work well on people with that archetype. Action-based ones. Australia lady is now accepting applications. 6 week summer fitness challenge. Summer is here. The warm weather, longer days, holiday vibes are in full swing. But are you feeling at your best? So we are creating that deprivation, that pain, because they want to look good on the beach, right? If you're ready to burn fat, build strength, and boost your energy while still enjoying the season, this is for you. You'll get 3 to 4 expert-led sessions each week, simple, sustainable nutrition guide, personal support, blah, blah, blah. Summer is not over. There's still time to make a real change and feel amazing in your body, selling the experience. Feel fitter, stronger, and more confident this summer. Action Base 2, mega giveaway alert. Win 1 free year of gym membership at Iron Core Fitness Club. Ever dreamed of having a full year of expert training, premium equipment, and supportive fitness community? Blah, blah, blah. Without paying a single rupee. This one was probably from an Indian or whatever country. Anyways, doesn't matter. Here's everything that's included. This is more than a giveaway. This is your chance. All good. Next one, emotional example. I think I already covered these before. But yeah, so here are examples of ad copies. Now, here's the thing. I made a document that you guys get access to that is like filled with hundreds of ad copies and templates that you could just use that are like every single, like the six I mentioned earlier, plus we probably have like nearly 60 to 70 ad copies of all shapes and sizes. These are long. There are also smaller ones. There are specific ones. There are ones that have different angle, different hooks. Um, if you're someone like we already talked about that one. Anyone else feel like they've been playing it small when it comes to their health and fitness? Another emotional angle. What if one free masterclass? And many of these ads have been extremely efficient as well. Um, so these copies are based on proven templates and for ads that did work. And we did like competitive analysis and based on everything that I worked with in the past. Um, the copies are here, but you can also use this as video script. You can also take the main hooks and headlines and add them into images and run those as paid ads. And you can use these frameworks as paid ads, right? To drive volume and to get results. Now, I think PASE really simplifies things well because you could put different ad copy suggestions and examples and creatives and all this advice out there into those 4 categories and make ads and systems for that, tailored to those. Um, and this is very plug and play based. Again, this training was made for my team and for businesses that I wanted to work with. So the PASE system was there so they can just take the ad copies. They can take those ads, they can turn those into scripts. You can modify them with ChatGPT if you want. I don't mind that as long as you get results. You can paste it and ask it to tailor it to your gym. Easy, right? When you're making your own ad copies. And that's why nobody has an excuse anymore, especially now with AI. As much as I hate to admit it, is that it takes care of the copies and the work. And the important thing here that I wanted to cover is that there's this theory that as time goes on, the content and the copies and the headlines and all this stuff won't have that much value because everybody has access to create high quality content and ads. So the market would be flooded with ads and everybody would be running ads. There are two ways you can exceed that. If you can't be better than everyone else, because especially in the fitness industry, which is already saturated, most of these angles, most of these copies creators, everything has already been tried. You're gonna either run more variations and get the algorithm to pick the ones that suit your audience the most, and based on that, start building momentum and volume, which would work really well. Honestly, if you had the same budget, but you just tested 100, like 10 times more ads, you'd find your winning combinations. That is the first approach, which is volume, just do more. Um, Second one is you spend more on ads, which is also technically goes back to volume. But like if you don't want to test on more variations, you're gonna have your fewer ads but outcompete everyone else, which is what we cover in the next chapters, which is if you have high LTV and everything else, you can beat all the other competitors who might have the same ads as you, but can't run the same business model, right? But lastly, again, the other important thing is I personally do think that video ads that are imperfect, selfie style videos, would be important and helpful because people want to, and you don't need to create professional videos or content. People want to feel like it's something that has been made by somebody they know. That's what they're on Facebook for, right? And people want to feel like it's human because if in the future, or I feel like already right now, AI generated content, all of those things, like those professional looking ads, our brain by default thinks it's an ad, so we skip it, we ignore it, and don't want to associate yourself with stereotypes that people have already habituated to ignore. Because we have pretty much conditioned ourselves to ignore most of the stuff we see. So try to be different, try to be unique, and try to be somebody, try to connect with them. And also meet people where they are at. If they're social, give them social stuff. If they're practical, give them practical stuff. If they're emotional, give them emotional stuff. If they're action-based, give them rewards, give them benefits. And it would take the same amount of time, this is the actual fact, for you to test 20 ads today that it would have taken you to test one ad 5 years ago or 10 years ago. So there's this concept of perceived work and actual work, which is still the same. So you just testing out one ad in the present day is the same as you doing nothing. Um, so keep that thing in mind. Do more variations. Test multiple campaigns, test multiple ad sets. You can duplicate them, change creatives. You can, when you find a winner, change its ad copy, make similar copies. Sorry, use the same ad copy. You can make it shorter. You can make it longer. You can take the same image, video. If it's a video, turn that into an image. If it's an image, turn that into a callback, turn it into a video. Deliver the message in different settings, deliver it in different scenarios. When you find a winner, push on it really hard. Optimize for what is working, turn off what is not working. And if you do all of this and you follow the framework, you will find your winning campaigns, and it will be one of your unfair advantages because as much as like this model wasn't focused on lowering the cost per acquisition or the lead cost the most, I have tested this is like a surefire way. And I've done this multiple times. Quite often when I'm working with clients or campaigns that are really important, I would test 100 ads and like 50 ad copies and 50 headlines and just combine them and just run like multiple campaigns, just like alterating audiences as well. And I would always bring the ad cost to like 5 or 6. Um, has worked really well for me. And these are the exact frameworks that I use. And I have systematized for you. So, and if you can like just ask ChatGPT, tell it about a case study of a person you worked with or find something online and create a copy for it, create a creative for it, put it out there. Do the same thing for videos, do the same thing for everything else. And that, if it's lowering your CAC to the point, especially when you're starting out, gives you a really high advantage to be able to scale highly as opposed to others. Not the solution, because most people get so when they get their marketing right, they forget the fulfillment and everything else. But still, I understand how crucial this is. So make sure your work loss at ads. Um, and also, on the other hand, if let's say ads don't end up being something that is the main source of revenue in the future, because whatever the world changes. You still have cold outreach, warm outreach, affiliates, other methods of lead gen that I mentioned here. So thank you for your time, and I'll see you guys in the next video.